Oh, hey everybody. Welcome back to the
Fantasmo Trailer Vault.
I'm your host, Rob Floyd, and thanks for joining me in this dark corner of the Fantasmo Lounge. Tonight, you and I are going to watch a mixed bag of trailers for some sci-fi, horror, action, a couple musicals thrown in. So, grab some popcorn, get a drink, and let's roll the first few.
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack. Can it survive?
Survivors of a disintegrated solar system. At this moment, the remainder of our fleet is circling your globe.
What do you want with me?
Arrange for your world leaders to confer with us in the city of Washington.
They set up an electronic screen. The artillery doesn't penetrate.
Never before has the screen reached such heights of excitement, breathtaking spectacle, hair-raising terror. See the saucer men's high-frequency disintegrators. See flying saucers travel thousands of miles in seconds. See great cities leveled by flying saucer monsters.
Russ, look.
The same kind of thing that's watched us since the beginning of the project.
People of Earth, attention. People of Earth, attention. This is a voice speaking to you from thousands of miles beyond your planet.
They're coming down to take over. They made that clear to us in the saucer. To the best of our knowledge, my wife and I are the only ones left alive.
Chief, you gotta believe me. You're gonna think I'm blind.
Rocks, Joe? Towers of rock crashing down and then growing up again?
Yeah.
Perhaps a part of the process is the absorption of silica, taking it right out of whatever it comes into contact with, like
Human beings?
Just like Ben, their bodies are turned to stone.
What was this amazing power that could turn people into stone, that could suddenly turn inanimate rocks, stones, monoliths, into growing, spreading, expanding monsters, threatening to engulf whole towns and cities, to bury all civilization under an immensity of weight beyond all calculation?
The natural slope of the valley floor is bringing them right down here.
And once they break through to the other side of the mountains, there'll be no stopping them ever.
Look, all we're asking you to do is save her life.
I can't cope with something I don't even understand.
Ready. Hit it now!
Creation of the humanoids. Out of the atomic war came the perfect man, the humanoids, man's own creation. physically and mentally perfect. Created to serve their masters. Men and women. But could man compete with this creation, the perfect man?
You love that machine?
I love Pax. He's dedicated to keeping me happy. And I am happy.
The robots are machines. They must be made to look like machines.
The perfect man, created by man, becomes man's worst enemy. Proceed! The most provocative story ever filmed. The most unusual story ever filmed. You must see it to believe it. The creation of the humanoids. The perfect man.
Man, Earth versus the Flying Saucers. Ray Harryhausen's early work. Anything Ray Harryhausen does, I'm gonna watch. You see the classic flying saucer shape and moving like no other flying saucers did.
We had a mechanism in the saucer that produced a death ray. And when we saw this footage, the stock footage, we thought, that'll be great because we can cover up the fact that they crashed together in this air show with the explosion of the ray. And it worked out quite well.
And the alien suits, real weird looking. And Hugh Marlowe, this classic square-jawed hero scientist. And if you've ever seen Mars Attacks, you can tell that Tim Burton liked Ray Harryhausen too. There's a lot in that was aped directly from this movie. The flying saucer shape, the way they moved, the laser coming down from underneath the ship, and the Washington Monument scene. Just gorgeous. A loving tribute to Ray Harryhausen. Monolith Monsters. Now this is one of my favorite 50s sci-fi movies. The concept itself is just weird. It's almost like the Blob, this force of nature that's coming for you constantly. It's not like a creature that you can shoot or kill, or a slasher or a monster or a scientist you can reason with. Nothing you can do about it. You get that in the trailer where it shows the one guy turned to stone and he falls. Then you see the monoliths themselves growing and falling. So it's a nice little parallel there of what's going on or what's to come.
Creation of the humanoids.
Now this one, Creation of the Humanoids, I saw this trailer and it was so weird and strange, and the color was muted but bright at the same time, and a lot of weird images.
I love you, Esme.
And it gives you the entire plot in the trailer.
You love that machine?
I love Pax.
I was asking if the plot was about robot men sleeping with all the Earth women, so the Earth men went to war with the robots.
Yeah, and no, that's not it at all. No. Society has created these humanoids to be the perfect human being and to do all the menial tasks and to be the slaves, but there's this faction of society that doesn't think that's right and they shouldn't be here, and they're fighting against it.
This first robot was quite ungainly, and its functions were limited. But refinements came in rapid succession, and soon the R-20 was capable of all the thought processes and functions of a man.
And it does have a bit of a twist ending, which thank goodness they don't give away in the trailer. But it shows a little bit of suspense, a little bit of action. 2 thumbs up. Highly recommended. Very strange, odd movie that came out of nowhere. And incidentally, the lead in this, Don McGowan, played the creature from the Black Lagoon in the 3rd sequel, The Creature Walks Among Us. Yeah, now, the one part of the trailer that's not that great is at the end with the atomic bomb explosion that's orange, and then the text itself is orange. It kind of gets lost in the explosion. They could have picked a better color for that. But other than that, it's a great trailer. So this first 3, good to start with, atomic age sci-fi movies. Let's move into horror with the next 3. It's Hammer time.
The curse of the werewolf that was laid on a baby who grew into a man possessed by a monster. To this Spanish town, the night brought drinking and dancing, music and girls, and the moon. The full moon that turned an innocent man into a savage beast. The curse of the werewolf, a man possessed by a desperate need for love, who found in Christina all the passionate sincerity of youth.
Christina, do you love me? Will you marry me, Christina? You say you love me, will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Help me! Get away! Get away! Get away! No!
Lovely music for a murder, or 2, or 3, or 9. Who's this? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a dear friend.
9 killed you. 9 shall die.
Your wife, no, Phibes. But you I will kill.
But you can't, Doctor. I am already dead.
Here, how are we going to get him off this? You take his head, and I'll take his feet. Let's unscrew him.
Dr. Phibes, who samples the finer things of life in his own inimitable way, and experiments with fascinating instruments of death.
The what, sir? The guitar. The 10 curses visited upon the pharaohs before Exodus.
9 shall die. 9 eternities in doom.
The curse of boils, of bats.
Frogs?
Frogs, yes. And the curse of blood. Curse of hail in the bloody middle of nowhere.
Are you ready for Dr. Phibes?
Probably the most terrifying motion picture you'll ever see.
Okay, now this trailer, Brides of Dracula, this is the US trailer, not the British trailer. I chose this one because it's unique and it's different. There's no dialogue in it, there's no narration. It's got that great sweeping and sensationalist text that I love in trailers. And even though it's a horror movie, it's edited like an action trailer where it's scene after scene after scene. You know, boom, 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 back to back. Great images, great music, sexy vampires, and Peter Cushing. anything with Peter Cushing I'm going to watch.
For in his spare time, Peter, an enthusiastic member of the Model Soldier Society, collects, makes, and acts as general to an army over 5,000 strong, delicately hand-painted and with detachable swords and helmets. Cushing is not content to just sit and admire them. He plays with them. He plays with them solemnly and conscientiously.
Now, this is one of the few Hammer Draculas that didn't have Christopher Lee playing Dracula.
When Hammer began to move forward with this follow-up, Christopher Lee said, no, I don't want to be in it. He was concerned he'd be typecast as Dracula, like Bela Lugosi had been in the 30s and forever after. So he took his leave temporarily.
David Peel was the vampire in this, Baron Meinster. Good-looking guy. It's a shame he didn't go on and do any more Hammer Draculas or vampire movies. And to call this Brides of Dracula, the only reason they did that was to cash in on the Dracula name, because Dracula's not in it anywhere. Like I said, the character's name is Baron Meinster.
So Hammer made an interesting choice. They had a script written without Dracula actually being present, but dealing instead with the legend of Dracula.
It's a great film. It's one of my favorite Hammer films, but this trailer is a great trailer.
The Curse
of the Werewolf. I'm a sucker for werewolf movies. And this is a great one. It's got one of the best looking werewolves ever on screen. The trailer is cool because you don't really see him till the very end of the trailer. You get little flashes throughout the trailer of the makeup from behind, from the side, and they don't give it away till right at the very end. And then you get that beauty shot. But the opening shot of this trailer is awesome. The close-up on his eyes and then the text, Curse of the Werewolf, on the screen. And the Hammer color. Oh, it's gorgeous color in this trailer, like most Hammer movies. And Oliver Reed, the charisma this guy has, the presence, if he doesn't alone make you want to watch the movie, I don't know what to tell you. It takes place in Spain, so he's dressed like everybody else did then, like a caballero almost, you know, and is a sharp-looking werewolf, man. Only second best dressed to Henry Hull in Werewolf of London with his duster and his driving cap. The cool thing about older movies without no CGI, it was actual real stunts, real guys doing real stuff, much like a real guy in a zombie makeup fighting a real shark in another trailer we talked about. This at the very end, you can see it's the stunt man in the makeup if you look, but it's done so quick. He picks up, as the werewolf, picks up a flaming hay bale that's really on fire and throws it off this tower into a real crowd of people that have to move out of the way. That's great movie making right there. Now, this next trailer isn't a Hammer film, but it is a British film, The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Vincent Price in one of his most beloved films. The trailer's great. You see a lot of Vincent Price hamming it up. A lot of campy stuff, a little bit of comic relief.
Here, how are we going to get him off this?
And also, you've got Vincent Price narrating some of the trailer, which is gold right there. There was a sequel, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, and we'll probably show that trailer in another episode. You know, maybe the next episode we'll do our first theme show and do maybe all Vincent Price trailers.
That I'll believe when I see it.
Now, in the trailer, it states it's the most terrifying
motion picture you'll ever see.
Not so much, but parts of it are like a black comedy and parts of it are like a straight-up just thriller. It's just a lot of damn fun.
The Davises have had a baby, but they're not sending out any announcements. Most new parents are a little scared when they have a baby. The Davises are terrified. You see, there's only one thing wrong with the Davis baby. It's alive. It's alive. Don't see it alone. Please. Rated PG.
This is Alan. He's such a dear boy. Oh, this is Jeffy. He's so full of fun. Oh, this is Anya. Isn't she just the sweetest thing? And this is their new friend, Smedley. They're giving him a party. It's his coming out party. Oh, the children are having such fun. They're laughing and laughing. And it all began here, one foggy winter's evening.
1971. Oh. He ought to be ripe. It's party time. It's the shank of the evening. My friend Orville and I are having cocktails in 10 minutes at my island cottage.
Alan, you're not really going to take that thing back to the cottage.
I, Alan, take this body.
Yeah, and welcome to it. You deserve everything you're getting. There's no business like show business like...
And I think, in time, we may get even closer. I'm going to take your scraps and feed them to my dog. Well, that's all right. Just keep a stiff upper lip.
Oh, yes, they had such a wonderful time. They laughed and laughed and laughed. That is, until Orville's friends dropped in. Then they screamed and screamed and screamed. The children had such a lovely time. It's too bad nobody ever told them children shouldn't play with dead things.
Blood is red. Voodoo is blue. Sugar is sweet. Revenge is sweeter.
I'm passing sentence.
Meet Sugar Hill.
No, please.
Not a place, but a brand new face.
My friends call me Sugar.
The foxiest,
Looking for anything special?
sexiest, deadliest chick in town. The mob took Sugar's man away. And now she's gonna make them pay.
I want them dead.
With a voodoo priestess called Mama Matrace.
I know what you can do. The power you possess. How strong is your hate?
And Baron Samdi, too.
My particular special. A drink that I'm famous for. The zombie. This is my domain, a kingdom of the dead.
And an army of undead behind her.
Each death has had something to do with voodoo ritual.
There's nothing that Sugar can't do.
Use it.
The mob has never seen anything like Sugar Hill and her zombie hitmen.
Now, this trailer for It's Alive is the TV spot, the 30-second spot. One of my favorite all-time trailers. This is one that has stuck with me since I was a little kid. I remember seeing this on TV and that creepy voiceover, that stark image of the bassinet just slowly turning, and then all of a sudden that clawed baby hand in the title obscuring it. It was creepy as hell then, it's creepy as hell now. Very effective. It's definitely a case of less is more. There's a theatrical trailer, a lot of scenes in it, but it doesn't hold a candle to this one. And this is one of those trailers where the footage for the trailer was shot specifically for the trailer. It's not scenes from the movie, it's just the ad campaign in and of itself. And I think this one, there's two. I think the one that we just watched is from the '77 re-release of it. There is another trailer just like this, but it's slightly different. The narrator is someone different, and the shot of the hand is you see it more in the trailer. It's not obscured by the title. Now, It's Alive spawned 2 sequels, and the less said about those, the better.
The It's Alive baby is back. Only now there are 3 of them.
Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. One of my favorite zombie movies, one of my favorite 70s movies. But this trailer is great. It's a lot of atmosphere, just like the movie is. That backlit fog shot in the woods, the zombies coming up out of the grave, the creepy electronic noises and sounds that kind of put you on edge and shakes you a little bit. The whole thing is just creepy, and the vibe is just awesome. The trailer kind of gives you the feeling that the movie does, where it starts off, it's almost like 2 separate movies. It starts off with a kind of fun, dark comedy of these kids, theater group, college age, partying in this graveyard, and then it shifts to just a straight-ahead Romero-esque zombie horror movie. The real interesting thing about this trailer, though, is that when it starts off, you see 3 of the main characters, and the corpse said his name is Smedley.
And this is their new friend, Smedley.
And in the actual movie, the corpse they dig up is Orville. I read somewhere this part of the trailer was filmed before they actually started filming the movie to get people interested in backing the movie. Either that or it was filmed as an add-on after the movie wrapped. Because if you notice, Alan Ormsby, the lead character in it, in the beginning of the trailer, that's the part I'm talking about, his hair is quite a bit shaggier and longer. And the corpse is a completely different guy, completely different makeup altogether. And you only see 3 of the leads in this part of the trailer, where there's, 5, 7 people in the bulk of the movie. But the trailer's very effective in giving you a feel for what the movie's like.
We should show some respect for the dead.
Why? The dead are losers. If anybody hasn't earned respect, it's the dead.
Now, once you watch this movie, and you'll probably gather this from the trailer, Return of the Living Dead owes a little bit to this movie, I think. But as far as horror comedy, the kids are having a party in a graveyard and the zombies come and attack them. And even some of the lines, like I believe it's party time.
It's party time.
They're giving him a party. It's his coming out party.
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where? Where are we gonna party?
So what we're gonna party tonight, Tina?
But it's his party.
Freddie always knows where there's a place to party.
I mean, it certainly would be rude not to invite him to his own party.
I just want to party.
It's party time.
And for a low budget, very low budget film, it's very effective. The creep factor, the makeup, the zombie makeups are pretty damn good. And interestingly, the lead, Alan Ormsby, was also the makeup artist for the movie. So he's the lead character. I believe he even had a hand in wrote the movie with Bob Clark, who was the director. Bob Clark, who also gave us Porky's, Black Christmas, and A Christmas Story. Now, Sugar Hill combines 2 of my favorite genres from the 70s, blaxploitation and horror. And the cast, Robert Quarry, Count Yorga, one of my all-time favorites. Marky Bay, beautiful woman. I don't know why she didn't do more. She should have been right up there with Pam Grier. Mother Jefferson, from the Jeffersons, George Jefferson's mother.
Don't talk to me about that woman. No, Mom.
In a horror movie? Are you kidding? I'm in. That alone. Now, it follows the formula of many of the female-led blaxploitation films where they killed her man and she's out for revenge. But instead of going after him with guns,
You motherfucking dope pusher.
she goes after him with zombies.
They're zombie hitmen.
Yeah. Of blaxploitation horror movies, this is right up there with Blackula for me as being one of my top 3 favorites.
Thank you very much.
Who will dare to face the challenge of the Funhouse? Who is mad enough to enter that world of darkness?
Something is alive in the Funhouse. Something not alive like its father. Something better dead. Something that has the form of a human, but not the face.
This better be good.
It's gonna be great. Something that feeds off the flesh and blood of young innocents.
Come on, here we go. This is it.
Something that tonight will turn the Funhouse into a carnival of terror.
I don't know what that thing is. We're gonna try to kill it. I just want to get the hell out of here.
The Funhouse, coming soon from Universal Pictures. The Funhouse. It's a carnival of terror from Tobe Hooper, the director who terrified you with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This is where the worst begins. This is where we must stop. For beyond is the work of madness.
Death!
The nightmare of insane murder and lingering death. Deranged. For Mary, it was only the beginning. For Christine, it was already too late. For Dolly, the worst was yet to come. And only Mrs. Cobb knew what he would do next.
I really love you, Mary.
Sometimes you don't want to believe what you see, but sometimes it's true. The story of a trail of butchery so brutal that newspapers refuse to print its horrifying details. When the horror becomes unbearable, it is too late to scream.
Now, the Funhouse takes place in a traveling carnival. You got me. I'm a sucker for any movie that takes place in a circus or a carnival. Just the atmosphere alone is creepy. You never see the monster in the trailer. You see a character walking around wearing a Frankenstein rubber mask, but you never see what's underneath it. And when you get the reveal in the movie, it's a nice, shocking jump scare. There's really some great bits in this trailer. There's this one scene where you see that long hallway and these tubes and the light. It kind of reminds you of something out of Alien, or even something out of the original Frankenstein with that German expressionist, distorted sets. And it's Tobe Hooper directing, so the guy that brought us Texas Chainsaw Massacre brought us the Funhouse. And also, you don't see it in the trailer, but keep an eye out when you do watch this movie, and you should watch this movie, for William Finley. Yeah, Winslow Leach from the Phantom of the Paradise has a small part in this as the magician, and it's a nice meaty little bit in the middle of the movie that's it's a joy to watch. Also, when you do see the makeup, the creature, Rick Baker designed that. So, of course, it's beautiful. And I have the mask right here if you want to get a shot of that. Yeah, I love that design. It's just a great creature. I have a full-size figure that I put that head on. It's out in the shed. Now, Deranged. This one is a retelling of the Ed Gein story and is a little closer to what I've always heard or read about Ed Gein than many of the other movies made about him. Texas Chainsaw was supposed to be based loosely off the story. Psycho was very loosely based off the Ed Gein. And another one is Silence of the Lambs. And like the Texas Chainsaw trailer, which is another great trailer we talked about on the last episode, this has got a lot of quick shots of the decaying bodies and the corpses flashing back to back to back to back. I love how it has that 70s trope of the freeze frame shots. And this one right at the beginning, that freeze frame, and then the title comes right out at you. It's got that great creepy voiceover that just puts you on edge too. It's almost not really a dark comedy, but there's some elements to it that are a little humorous.
Say, I can trust her. I know I can trust her.
Why do you think you can trust her, Ez?
Oh, 'cause she's fat. I know I can trust her. She's fat.
And the lead actor in this, who played Ezra Cobb, you may remember him from Home Alone as Old Man Marley, the snow shovel guy.
Check it out, Old Man Marley murdered his whole family and half the people on the block.
Yeah!
Look out!
She's fat!
Who ends up being a good guy and saving the day.
Come on, let's get you fat!
Unlike what he does in this movie.
She's fat!
Columbia Pictures presents Chuck Norris.
Damn fighters! You call the police?
Not me, boss.
Nobody call the police. You must be a mirage.
The master fighter of our time. But not even he could imagine the power of the indestructible man he is about to face. A creation of science whose only thought is to survive.
Can't you, senor?
The unstoppable terror of silent rage. Now, Chuck Norris must destroy him.
Dan, watch out!
In a final battle to the death and beyond. Silent rage.
On a mysterious island in the South China Sea, there is a fortress without walls, protected by an invincible army that needs no ordinary weapons. Welcome to the island of Han, a private world of exquisite pleasures.
I have a funny feeling we're being fattened up for the kill.
And sudden death. Warner Brothers presents Enter the Dragon, the first martial arts film produced by a major Hollywood studio. American star John Saxon is Roper. He escaped the guns of the underworld.
I will find someone with whom you can fight. There's a point I won't go beyond.
Now he must face the hands of death. Introducing U.S. karate champion Jim Kelly as Williams. He grew up in the streets and knew what it meant to fight for survival.
Your style is unorthodox. It is not the art, but the combat that you enjoy.
No winning.
And starring Black Belt Hall of Fame, undisputed martial arts champion, and international film star Bruce Lee.
What do you know about Han? He lives like a king on that island. Totally self-sufficient. I gather you still don't have enough to bust up his operation. We know everything. We can prove nothing. We want you to go in there as our agent.
His job is to find the secret of the island of Han and destroy it. Roper, Williams, and Lee penetrate the secret chambers of Han's evil empire where they meet the beautiful and treacherous Tanya. Mai Ling, exotic but dangerous. Su Lin, delicate and deadly. Roper, Williams, and Lee. Just when they think they've broken the secret of the island, they find there is no escape from the inscrutable Han. Roper, he's in it for the money.
I'm hoping you'll join us, represent us in the United States.
You want me to join this?
Williams, he was there because he had no choice. And Lee, his job was to get them out, alive. This is Enter the Dragon, where the world's greatest martial arts athletes meet the ultimate challenge with the most ancient and deadly of weapons, the human body. Enter the Dragon, filmed in Panavision by Warner Brothers.
Oh man, Silent Rage. Probably my favorite Chuck Norris movie. I remember seeing this movie. My mom took me to see it at the Great Bridge Twin Theater. I must have been 12 or 13 years old. This is Chuck Norris, maybe his third kind of big starring movie when he was really just getting to be Chuck Norris. It's not a typical Chuck Norris movie. As you can see in the trailer, it's more kind of a horror movie with some martial arts action in it. There's this unstoppable killer, and Chuck Norris is gonna kick the crap out of him. Basically, it's Chuck Norris meets Michael Myers. And this is another one of the ones that has William Finley in it, Phantom of the Paradise. And they say in the trailer that Chuck Norris is the master fighter of our time. Well, he's definitely the master fighter of this movie. Now, speaking of the master fighter of all time, the next trailer, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee's masterpiece. Unfortunately, he died before the movie was released, so he never got to see it.
I will find someone with whom you can fight.
Yeah, the villain is overdubbed by Key Luke. Key Luke is the Asian actor from the 60s and the 70s. He was the voice of Zoltar on Battle of the Planets. All the Asian villains on Johnny Quest.
Now, what's this about a dragon? You no see dragon?
Kato in the Green Hornet serials.
It was a lucky day for me when I rescued you from that native in Singapore.
He tried to kill me because I am a Korean.
He's the old man, the merchant in Gremlins.
Mogwai, not for sale.
Key Luke did everything. He's got a great voice. But anyway, so Enter the Dragon. You got John Saxon, John Action Saxon, Jim Kelly, Bruce Lee, and the trailer sells it as there's this team that are going in to infiltrate this island and find out all the corrupt things that are going on and get out. Where in the movie you find out they don't know each other. They're three separate guys going to this tournament, and Bruce Lee is sent in. He's the only one that is sent in as an agent. This is the American trailer, and it states in the trailer the first
martial arts film produced by a major Hollywood studio.
And it was, and this set the gold standard for martial arts movies after this. Untold martial arts movies ripped off the plot from this. Bloodsport is probably the most famous of all of them, and even has Bolo Young in it as the main villain. And there were a lot of martial arts movies that came out in the early 70s, but this is the one that really cemented the martial arts craze and made everybody want to start learning how to spin nunchucks and take kung fu lessons. Bruce Lee, his charisma and charm on the camera, nobody has come close to achieving what he did since then. For a Chinese actor to be the lead and to star in a film, this was a pretty big deal back then, and he was a hero in China. If you watch the trailer, the Chinese trailer for Enter the Dragon, it's quite a bit different than this one. It's all about Bruce Lee, as it should be. And this movie was so influential that you can see where a lot of other movies had borrowed things from it, from the mirror scene to the knife hands to the basic plot.
Flawless victory.
And a lot of other things suspiciously came out after this movie. Wolverine? Freddy Krueger? No, Han was the first with the knife hands.
Just keep saying to yourself, it's only a movie. It's only a movie. It's only a movie that will have you living in the sixth dimension, moving in the wrong direction. A new fantasy, musical, comedy. The Forbidden Zone.
Say That's very good. Hello, I'm Dr. Cosmo McKinley. I'd like to tell you about a new film from the gang that gave you the Rocky Horror Show. Shock Treatment.
I'm not a locum with no suture myself. I've been a cynic for too many years. Playing doctor and nurse, it can be good for your health. I've seen clinics with those gimmicks in Tangiers. But if you open your heart to a smooth operator, he'll take you for all that you've got. He'll hand you a curse that'll be with you later. It'll shake you the way he takes off, like a shot. You need a bit of shock treatment. Get you jumping like a real live wire. Need a bit of shock treatment. So look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a vista that'll mystify ya. You're blinded by romance, you're blinded by science. Your condition is critically grave. But don't expect mercy from such an alliance. Suspicion of tradition, so you wave. You need a bit of shock treatment. Get you jumping like a real live wire. Need a bit of shock treatment. So look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a sister that'll certify ya. Fire, fire. You need a bit of shock treatment. Get you jumping like a real live wire. You need a bit of shock treatment. So look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a sister that'll certify ya.
You'll be pathetically crazy about shock treatment. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
You talk about a bizarre, weird movie, and I think this trailer gets that point across. The most interesting thing about this trailer, though, is the trailer is in color, but the movie is in black and white. It's weirder in black and white, actually. There's a lot of stuff going on in this trailer, a lot of old school stop motion animation, hand-drawn animation, nudity, and a lot of this, the stop motion animation in this, it reminds you of the old Merry Melodies cartoons from the 30s and the 40s, where you see the characters doing one motion back and forth, and this is done live action. It's really unsettling and kind of creepy and weird and whimsical all at the same time. Oingo Boingo did the music, or I should say the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. and Danny Elfman and his brother Richard Elfman directed it. Hervé Villechaize, tattooed from Fantasy Island, is the king of the Forbidden Zone. That alone should make you want to watch it. Anything with Hervé Villechaize in it. And so much weird imagery in this movie, from the human with the big frog head, Froggy, which years later I find out that a good friend of mine went to college with a guy that played Froggy. I wish I would have known that years ago. Oh, Shock Treatment, the sequel to Rocky Horror. It's not a sequel, it's an equal. And if you go in expecting a sequel to Rocky Horror, you're going to be sorely disappointed like most people were when it came out. One of the reasons it bombed. But it is an equal. It's a lot of fun. It's got great catchy songs in it that'll grow on you the more you watch it. It's written by the same person. Richard O'Brien wrote it, created it, wrote all the music. And it's the continuing adventures of Brad and Janet, played by Clifty Young and Jessica Harper, who was in Suspiria and Phantom of the Paradise. One of my favorite parts about this trailer, though, is the opening shot of basically it's kind of the movie poster, but with the superimposed lips, harkening back to Rocky Horror. Now, this movie was way ahead of its time in pretty much predicting reality TV. The entire thing takes place in a TV studio, and the whole town is in the audience, and they kind of sleep in the studio and kind of live through the TV show. It's very strange, but it's Richard O'Brien. Another interesting fact about this movie, the security guard, Christopher Malcolm, was the very first Brad in the Rocky Horror Show stage production in London.
Echo base, this is Rogue 2. I found them. Repeat, I found them.
So that's it for this one. And hey, if you do like these trailers and you like cult movies as much as I do, be sure to check out our podcast, Fantasmo After Dark. We're on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, lots of places, even here on YouTube. And keep checking back for future episodes of the Fantasmo Trailer Vault here. Till next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Good night. Kato.